Shalom. Giving all praises to Yehovah Shem El Shai by Shem Kodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopefully elect out there. And I mean that, the elect. The Most High is only coming for the elect. Many are called, but few are chosen. That's why through the years, many come into this school from the One West days, from going back to Abba, the Mashar, King Mashar, Arya, Jaquab, the seven, the men that came under them that kept this thing going, such as myself and others. So we continued on from, what the apostles and the prophets did. And the Most High is only dealing with the prophets. Most High is not dealing with just some average Israelite. A lot of you that come to the realization that you're Israelites doesn't mean that you're a prophet. You were one of the ancient prophets. And anyway, I'm going to entitle this video a few words on the Zealots, because the activity that happened out there in Chicago with the Wi-Fi, and there was another group involved in that. There was a unity camp, that melee that broke out. They were in the spirit of being zealots. They were in the zealot spirit. And we here at Great Millstone, we said our piece, and we said they were totally out of order. They were totally wrong. The scripture said, rebuke them. Here you got the leader of the Wi-Fi saying that they didn't do nothing wrong, and you guys are a bunch of niggas and you're wicked, and I got scriptures to prove that. And this man didn't even come in through the door. He came in through another way. Read John chapter 10. So he filled up with himself. He's a young man. Scriptures don't lie. At least being a novice, new, at least being lifted up with pride, he come under the condemnation of the devil. So he made it known. And then he's even more proud because you got men that been in this thing that go back to the One West days. You got Sabak, Priest Sabak, and you got Ephraim, Chief Ephraim. And they're saying, well, Chief Ephraim said, we're going to go out there this weekend. We're all calling all camps. Anyway, do you really think GMS is going to join y'all? Man, this is absolutely not. Do you think the IUIC, which has the biggest army, they got a 3,000 man army, they can just come and walk through and you think they're going to show up? I'm not going to hold my breath. Do you think ISUPK is out there? Do you think ISUPK is going to show up out there? I don't believe so. And any other camps out there. Sabak, he made a statement that you guys are a young lion and you held it down and this, that, and the third. But I can't make it because of, I have things to do, whatever. Well, if I'm not there, I'm not going to tell anybody to go there. Put themselves in harm's way. But Zabak or Priest Zabak should have really cursed him out and said, no, this is out of order. Oh, so you're going to have, they had mentioned that Sakari is going to be out there. And I believe that my personal belief is Alazar, which is the head of Sakari, which started with us, he may very well be Alazar, was that Bun Simon, I believe. Alazar Bun Simon, which, by the way, the Sakari, I'm not going to go all deep into the history, but the Sakari was a break-off of the Zealots. So let's go into a little bit of history. Oh, and by the way, this is what high priest. I'm a little all over the place, but that's all right. There's lessons within lessons. So we made our stance. We said, look, it was dead wrong. Others are saying, nah, they did the right thing. Okay, so we'll see, and we'll leave it at that. what was I going to say? Oh, let me do this. Aria used to say every once in a while that the reason why Judas Iscariot went off was because he saw the spiritual power of the Lord. He knew what the Lord could do. Remember, the Lord made a statement: I can call down 12 legion of angels and to take the Roman Empire down. He had the power to just take the Roman Empire down. As fast and as powerful as it was, the angels going to kick ass. Them angels going to wax ass. Anyway, High Priest Ariel used to say that Judas Iscariot wasn't really being wicked. Judas Iscariot saw the power of the Lord and he knew what he can do. And he said, I'm going to force his hands. I'm going to tell on them guys and tell on the leadership, the ones that sit in Moses' seat. I'm going to tell them, yeah, this is the guy. I'm going to set him up. And the guy that I kissed, that's the Lord. And so grab him up. And what Ariel said, and other certain scholars agreed to that he pushed the Lord's hand, because he said, well, if they grab him, the Lord is going to call on the angels, and then the Most High will destroy the Roman Empire, and we'll have the kingdom. Because he was impatient. But he was set up to do that, based upon the scriptures. They speak about that in Psalms. I believe it's 109. I'm not going to go to it. And it's also spoken of in Acts, the 1st chapter, that he may fulfill prophecy. So he was the one. The scriptures say in Romans 8, starting about the 20th verse, subject unto vanity, not willingly, but subject by. I'm botching it up. But bottom line, it says we were subject unto vanity, not willingly. In other words, man's goings of the Lord, so how can a man then understand his own way? So the Most High put the Spirit on him to do what he had to do. That's why the Lord said, go and do what you got to do. Do what you do. And when he said that, Judas couldn't resist it, and he had to do what he did, because he was set up to betray the Lord, to fulfill the prophecy. So it wasn't necessarily that he did it. It was a spirit that got on him to make him do it. Just like Most High used the spiritual demon Satan to get in the ear of King David to make him do a census, count Israel. And why did the Lord do that? And Job said, nah, Joab. He said, nah, this is not your people. This is the Lord's people. This is not your people. You're not the God of these people. But David went on and said, go ahead and count them. Do a census. And the reason why he did it, when you read, 2 Samuel, and also read, and I believe 2 Chronicles, I'm not going to get it, somebody put it in there. And one thing it said that he went to count Israel. Another in Chronicles, I believe it's 2 Chronicles, if not first, I hadn't read this in years. It said that the Most High put the Spirit on Satan and made Satan do it. So what is that telling you? That the Most High is over Satan, and that Satan is an employee for the Most High. That's never changed. Satan and the demons are still in the heavens, man. And they still get orders from the Most High. Anyway, so what happened was a spiritual thing. Most High put the Spirit in a dream, in a vision by night, when deep sleep falleth upon a man. He sealeth their instruction. So he sealed the instruction of what Judas was supposed to do. Judas was a zealot. And I'm going to read the definition of zealot. I'm not going to make this too long. But see, now there's a spirit of zealotism out there. Because if you did that with these Palestinian protesters, are you going to say, oh, there's going to be a big Hell's Angels convention. Let's go out there and call them a bunch of devils. You're not going to do that. If there's 350, I just keep saying Harley Davidson, Hell's Angels out there, which are racist Edomites, you're going to go out there, you bunch of devils, you're a bunch of Edomites, man. We're going to put you, what do you think they going to say, we're going to kill these niggas. And there's like 20 of y'all? That's stupid. That's foolhardy. That's the new term. Foolhardy. Same thing goes with KKK. KKK comes out to Chicago, they march. They got the cops there. Hey, you setting up, you bunch of devils, you throwing bottles at them and cans and rocks and shit. What the fuck do you think gonna happen? And if that's the case, why not go all the way with it? Just be like the Zealots. And we're going to get into the history of the Zealots. The Zealots did what they were supposed to do because that was the spirit that was put upon them by the Most High. But you had Judas that was part of the 12. So he had to put out of him that Zealot activity. He had to humble himself. You had Simon Zelotes, the Canaanite, and the word Canaan is not Canaan like the African, but I'm not going to go into it. Like I said, I'm not going to jump around. You go into the history of the Canaan. What did it mean by Canaan? It was talking about, it translated into the word zealot. It's translated. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do that. Let me go ahead and do that. Nah, man, it's talking about a Canaanite, man. He was born in the land of Canaan. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me open up another one. Bear with me for a minute. Simon. Okay, it says okay, Matthew 10 verse 4. Simon the Canaanite and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. Simon the Canaanite was a zealot, an Israelite that was a zealot that put away his attitude of a zealot trying to take down the Roman Empire. He became a disciple and he had to put that away. And I'm going to show you when the Zealots were put to an end. I'm going to go into the history of that. So it says Simon the Canaanite. Now, if you're a Christian, you're going to say, yeah, Canaanite, he's an African. There's nothing deep about you guys. Oh, that goes for the IUIC. No, it says he was a Canaanite because he was in the land of Canaan. You got to go into the root of these words. It's called etymology. So, Simon the Canaanite. Like I said, it's not talking about the country of Canaan. Simon was not a Hamite. Let's look it up. G25 verse 81. G25 81. Got the codification in my head. So it says, there it goes. It says Canaanite equals zealous or zealot. The surname of Apostle Simon, and he stayed with the apostleship, formerly a zealot, otherwise known as Simon Zelotes. Simon the Zealot. It says here Amoraic roots kanaitas. It says, okay, Quana. Quana. That's where the word, the Greek way is Canaan. Let me bring that back. I'm sorry. Let me bring this back. Anitas, or Quana, or Quana'a. The surname of Apostle Simon, otherwise known as Simon Zelotes, Greek for jealous one, or zealot. He's full of zeal. So the word Quana or Quana'a. You know, you had a famous Gadite called Quana Parker. Quana. It means a zealot. Quana Parker had an Edomite mother, and I forget, I don't know if he was a Cherokee. Somebody help me out, do the research, but he was a great warrior for the whatever tribe of Gad he came out of. I believe it was Cherokee. Quana Parker. Mother was an Edomite. They had captured an Edomite woman, popped her, had a son, and the spirit that was in that son was not a spirit. He wasn't a half breed. He was an Israelite. He was a Gadite. It means jealous, because they formed this. This is similar to, so you can understand, like the Black Panthers. Those are ancient Black Panthers. And what happened to the Black Panthers? They got dismantled. Then you had the new Black Panthers, and I believe that's getting dismantled because the chief individual, what's his brother's name? He had left. Somebody can help me with that. The rumors is that he no longer part of the. He had the debate with Captain Tazariak. Forget his name. I'll remember, the name will come to me after I turn this thing off. So if you're jealous for the land and for the Most High, you're going to physically fight to take down the enemy. Well, spiritually, you wasn't supposed to take down the enemy. That's why the Apostle Paul said what he said in Romans chapter 13, the first two verses, when it said the Most High set up the power. He talking about the Roman Empire. He said you're not supposed to go against it because the Most High set them up because they got to fulfill prophecy. Was it Zabak that said that? Priest Zabak, he said them brothers are mighty lions, and they stood up to the Palestinians. They stood up to the cops. Well, if you stand up to the cops, you're violating Romans chapter 13, verse 1 and 2. If you want to go and pull out some words from the first two verses, it'll tell you that it ain't talking about whatever the government say you do. If they tell you to take the chip, go ahead and take no. It says don't come together to bring them down. And that happened a lot. That happened a lot under Roman rule. You had all kind of groups of other nations, bringing together groups to tear down the Roman Empire. The biggest one was they had a movie on it, and this guy actually existed. Unlike the movie Ben-Hur, that was a made-up story. That was written by a guy on the battlefield during the Civil War. He was on the southern side. He was, what do you call it? He's a rebel to the north. 13 colonies. I forget the term. It's a simple term, but my memory fails me on that. But anyway, damn, what do you call that? Damn, I hate that, man. Confederate was the southern state. So one guy, he was on at the field of battle, and when it was quiet, he just wrote that story. Ben Hur never existed. Ben Hur never existed, but this guy Spartacus, he actually existed. He was a Jake that got a bunch of Jakes. They were gladiators, and they said we're going to take the Roman Empire down, and they won battles, but they didn't. Ultimately, they lost to the Romans. Why? Because fulfillment of prophecy. See, this is what the Zealots didn't understand. They were carnal Israelites. They were Israelites, but they were carnal. They were not prophets. They didn't know that you're not supposed to take the Roman Empire down or fight against it, because the Most High set them up. Just like this Most High set up the Egyptians, Most High set up the Egyptians so he may show his power, right? So you couldn't take down the Egyptians. You couldn't change the plans of the Most High. Babylonians ruled for a certain amount of time. Persian and Medes, you know the story. And then Romans, and this is the second Roman Empire. And those Israelite groups in the Old Testament, they don't understand that this is the second Roman Empire. So anyway, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the history. It says the Zealots were a political movement. Just like you got Jake, they set up these movements. You know, you had the Black Panthers and other groups to come against Esau and all that. It says in first century, which was when our Lord was on the scene, Second Temple Judaism, or Israelism, let's say, which sought to incite the people of the Yahudiah province to rebel against the Roman Empire. So when the Lord brought the 12 together, if there were Zealots, like I said, one was a tax collector, a Republican, and everybody hated the Republican because they were collecting. You had Uncle Tom Jake collecting taxes from this Israelite collecting taxes from other Israelites. So they hated this guy. But guess what? He was one of the chosen, and he became the treasurer, because he dealt with numbers. Two of them were straight up Zealots. You know, just like you got so-called Black Panthers that become Israelites or become Islam or whatever. So they had to put all that taking down the Roman Empire to the side because they were disciples. One of them betrayed and was pushed out. The other one, Simon, he remained one of the 12. He never went back. He never got into riots and nothing like that. He was a changed man. That's why when you read the account of, and what I believe that's Acts 21, I'm giving you a lot of fast history, so that's why I'm quoting scriptures. Anyway, the officer that saved the Apostle Paul had to use his status as a Roman citizen. He had to be, so he played like an Uncle Tom, so you can understand. So he started speaking Greek. He said, how are you able to speak Greek? Because he was educated. He was learning. He was educated above the apostles, including Peter, which is David. So he mistaken him for being an Egyptian. And that shows you that the Apostle Paul was a black man. What color are Egyptians? We got into it when Vocab came with his motley crew, and I forget the brother's name, Adams, with the braids almost at the end. I asked him I said, what color are the Egyptians? He said, all colors. I said, you know goddamn well the Egyptians ain't all goddamn color. That's just like asking me what color are the Chinese people. Oh, they're all colors. No, the Egyptians were black. So I wanted them to say that they were black, so I can say, well, why did the captain refer to the Apostle Paul as being an Egyptian? You look like that Egyptian guy. So he didn't want to step into that trap. See, when we argue, debating is basically trapping people. You ask a person a question, you lead them to something, they agree to it, and then you say, okay, if you agree to that, then you got to agree to this. Those are called traps. That's in fighting, in boxing, martial arts. You trap people. You got to learn how to trap. If people don't want to fight you, they're on the defensive, you got to trap them. It says, and I know a lot of traps. I know a lot of traps. It says to rebel against the Roman Empire and expel it. Well, that's why Paul made the statement that he made in Romans 13. Don't bring any groups together to fight against the Roman Empire, because the Most High set up the Roman Empire. And expel it from the Holy Land by force of arms, most notably during the First Jewish-Roman War, 66 to 70. 66 was when Nero was in office, which is Trump. Nero is back as that's Trump. They got all kind of felonies against this guy. Man, I done got locked up for fucking jaywalking, damn near. I got locked up for a fucking misdemeanor. Locked my ass up, gave me a DAT, disappearance ticket. And when I went to the court, the judge just threw it, case dismissed, get out of here. You know? But here this guy got all kind of, a mountain of felonies, man, in different states. Trying to lock him up. They ain't going to lock him up. I'll be surprised. Well, they ain't going to lock him up, because if they do lock him up, the good old boys are going to burn this country down. Okay? Because they want him to be the president. Now, if he is, we got to wait and see. But it makes sense, because Nero going to do one more round. Round two. It says 66 to 70, right? That was during the first Jewish-Roman War. You know, they had others. They had, I think, 3 altogether. Zealotry was the term used by Josephus for a fourth sect or fourth Jewish philosophy during this period. So these guys, they were Israelites. They went to the Sabbath and so forth. They had beards. They kept the laws. But they were not prophets. But 2 of them became prophets. But one of them fell off. The other one, Simon, stayed. So Simon is back here today. And he's back here. I don't know who he is. He's back here as one of the men teaching. And he's most likely in GMS. He got to be in GMS. Okay, the etymology. The term a zealot, the common translation of the Hebrew kanai, or right here it says kanaya. Blue letter took off the ya at the end. Kanaya. So that's why they call him Simon the Canaanite. It was supposed to be Simon the Kanaya. The zealot, frequently used in plural from kanayam, or kanayim. They got it right. Kanayim means one who is jealous. Like I said, the zealots and later the Sicarii. What was the Sicarii known for? They were zealots. They were nothing but zealots. They didn't like the order of the zealots. And they said, we're going to set up our own thing, and we're going to call it the Sicarii. And the Sicarii means, loosely translated, they had the daggers, the dagger men. And they would go, if they felt that you were an Israelite and you were like kissing the Roman authorities' ass, they would stab you up. Then they would go out and they would stab up, Roman Edomite citizens Anybody was for Rome, they would go out. So what would they be classified? They would be terrorists. A terror. The Zealots would be considered a terrorist organization. The Sicarii, which even became even more fierce than the Zealots, they would also be considered a terrorist organization. The word Hamas is actually a Hebrew word that means violence. So what the Palestinians are doing, or any of the Arab groups that have these organizations, the ISIS and the Taliban and these different names, they're nothing but zealots or terrorists, because they can't fight on the field of battle. They don't have a standing army, so they got to, get in and get out. It says so. If you're a prophet is not to do this. A prophet is not to do this. What Peter did to Malchus' ear was a terrorist thing that he did. That's why the Lord picked up his ear, placed it back on him, healed him, and told Peter, look, you use that sword, the sword, you're going to die by the sword. That's how Esau's going to die. Esau's power, he got everything that he has, that he took it by the sword. He took it by the sword, by his armies. So he's going to die by the sword on behalf of the Most High, because they're saying we're doing this for God. Well, wait a minute. God, the Most High, set up the Roman Empire. The term derived from Greek emulator, zealous. Bear me for a minute. Zealous, admirer, or admirer or follower. Now check this out. It says zealots, right? Like I said, I'm not going to go into the Sicarii. Somebody else can pick it up. Maybe Apostle Aramlab or Apostle Gabar or Manatazakba or Karatazar or Karatazar, whoever. I'm just throwing names out there. And if nobody does it, I might come back and do it. So let's understand that the Sicarii came out of the Zealots, which the Zealots was the same as Sicarii, but the Sicarii was a little bit more fierce. It was like the Zealots are moving, and they were killing each other too. The leaders were killing each other during that time period, 66 to 70 AD. Now check this out. There was an end of the Zealots. So it says leader, Judas of Galilee, blah, 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 Manasseh, Judah, John, Simon Bar. And you can click on these and get the information. And Eleazar ben Simon. I believe that's the one, which I believe that's this guy. Damn. It was the head of Sicarii, Eleazar, got the same name. And he kind of looked like him. Kind of looked like a real tall, got the big beard. But this might be an Edomized version of him. I don't know if there's any bust on him. So it says founded 6 CE, a few years before the Lord was born, because the Romans made Palestine a province. What was it? 45 CE, and it says what? The Zealots dissolved in what? 73 CE. It says headquarters of the Zealots, Jerusalem, Gush, Halav. What the hell is this all about? Masada. Masada is see, now the Zealots were the ones. A lot of them were Zealots. The ones in Masada, they was on this mountaintop, and they basically had a came up with a suicide pact. So look, man, we ain't gonna let them Romans kill us. We gonna kill ourselves. Fuck them Romans, them uncircumcised dogs. We gonna kill ourselves. So they had a suicide pact. So let me read this. Masada is an ancient fortification in the southern district of Israel, situated on top of an isolated rock plateau akin to the Mesa. It is located on the eastern edge of the Judean desert, overlooking the Dead Sea, 20 kilometers, 12 miles east of Arad. So you can see it. You see it in the picture right there, right? It was on a mountaintop. And the Romans were taking them over, right? And the Romans came up to the mountain. When they got up to the top of the mountain, all of them were dead. Suicide pact. Now let me do this. Let me go to Elazar ben Lawyer. Okay, let's see what it says. It says Elazar ben Simon, I said lawyer, was a zealot leader during the first Jewish-Roman war who fought against the armies of Cetius Gaius Vespasian and Titus Flavius. Vespasian, you know, that's from the same family. From the onset of the war in 66 CE, because Vespasian was a general at that time, his son was coming up as a general. He took over from his father. A lot of these emperors were generals before that. It says of the 66 CE until the destruction of the temple in 70 CE, he fought vehemently against the Roman garrisons in Judea. But it tells you that he broke off from the Zealots. See, this ain't gonna come up. That's all right. I ain't mad at you. But there you go. There's some history right there. So prophets are not, how can I say this? Zealots are not prophets, but zealots are not prophets, but zealots can become prophets. Matter of fact, let me do that. Zealots are not prophets, but zealots put in the capital zealots can become prophets. So that's the title, official title of this video. Zealots are not prophets, but zealots can become prophets. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. See, now we don't know. These guys are fighting. We're going to fight this guy. Then we're going to get the motorcycle kings. Then we're going to get the K. There's a KK. Let's jump on them. Then you just became zealots in the spirit, which you became carnal. Romans 8 speaks about the carnal man is enemy to the Most High. Scripture say, wait ye upon me till I rise up pray. Wake not, my beloved, Solomon 8. Wake not, Song of Solomon 8. Wake not, my love, until he be pleased. In other words, don't push the Most High's hand like Judas Iscariot did. So this is why we say that these guys were dead wrong in doing what they did, and they're going to be even wronger, if that's a word, if they have a big thing with all these different groups coming together in Chicago to face the Palestinians. Maybe the Palestinians won't be there that week. Maybe everything will go back to normal. Maybe they'll be out there. Maybe some of you will get arrested. Some of you will get shot, stabbed up. You may kill a couple of people. Some of y'all might get killed. So a prophet wouldn't do this. A prophet wouldn't commend. We don't commend. We believe that we're the prophets, of course. We don't commend you for what you did. We condemn what you did. So anybody that's commending you and saying go ahead and push forward, you're turning them into zealots. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.